The courtroom doors flew open and the judge's gavel cracked like thunder across the marble hall. Miss Thompson, your motion to dismiss is denied. The discrimination suit against your firm will proceed, and the media has already obtained footage of your personal situation. My hand flew to my swollen belly as cameras exploded in my face. Reporters screaming questions about the lesbian lawyer who dared to carry a baby through assisted reproduction while representing one of Chicago's most conservative clients. In that single moment, 8 years of building my career as a top defense attorney at Hargrove and Klein evaporated, and the woman who had sworn she would never have a lesbian daughter was about to learn just how wrong she had been. I stumbled out of the building with Jocelyn's arm locked around my waist, her voice steady even though I could feel her trembling. We knew this could happen, Angie. The leak about the IVF, the Pride Parade photo from last year. It was only a matter of time. We had chosen the anonymous donor together in a quiet clinic 6 months earlier, both of us crying happy tears when the pregnancy test turned positive. I was 34, partner track at the firm, and Jocelyn taught literature at a private high school. We had kept our life private for a reason. My mother, Victoria Thompson, had made her position crystal clear the day I came out at 23. I will never have a lesbian daughter. Do not bring that into this family. She hadn't spoken to me since. Now the city's biggest tabloids were calling it the lesbian baby scandal. And my biggest client, a megachurch organization, was suing the firm for moral compromise. The partners had already hinted that if I didn't issue a public statement distancing myself from alternative lifestyles, they would have no choice but to let me go. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Colleagues, reporters, even my younger brother begging me to think about the family name. Every decision felt like walking a tightrope over a canyon. Stay silent and maybe save my job, my future, my child's stability? Or stand beside Jocelyn and watch everything we built burn. We drove home in silence through the pouring Chicago rain. Jocelyn kept one hand on the wheel and the other gently on my knee. Whatever you choose, I'm here. But I won't hide who we are anymore. Not when our baby is coming in 8 weeks. I stared out the window at the blurred skyline, heart hammering. The lawsuit wasn't just about money. It was about reputation. If the firm lost the case because of me, every partner could face career suicide. My silence might protect them and me, but it would slice Jocelyn's heart in two. I squeezed her hand, unable to speak the words yet. The pressure was already crushing me, and the real storm hadn't even begun. That night the first death threat email arrived. God doesn't approve of your kind raising children. Jocelyn deleted it before I could read the rest, but the damage was done. I lay awake feeling the baby kick, wondering how one photograph and one medical procedure could turn my entire world into a battlefield. By morning, the local news had picked up the story. Prominent attorney's lesbian pregnancy sparks corporate lawsuit. My boss left a voicemail. Angelina, we need you in the office at 9. Bring a plan. Or don't come at all. I walked into the glass tower of Hargrove and Klein at exactly 8:57 a.m., stomach churning harder than any morning sickness. The partners were already seated around the long mahogany table like a firing squad. The client wants a public apology, Mr. Hargrove said without greeting. Deny the relationship, say the pregnancy is private, and we might salvage the account. Refuse and we lose $30 million in billables. Your choice. Jocelyn waited downstairs in the lobby, refusing to let me face this alone. I pictured her pacing, hands twisting the strap of her purse, the same purse she carried the day we picked out baby names. Olivia, if a girl, after my grandmother who never got to meet us. My mouth opened, but the word stuck. Denying Jocelyn would be denying the last 8 years, the nights she held me through panic attacks after tough cases, the way she sang lullabies to my belly every evening. Yet saying nothing meant kissing my 6-figure salary goodbye. The house we were saving for in the suburbs, the college fund we had already started. I need time, I whispered. Hargrove's face hardened. You have until close of business. The press is camped outside. Choose wisely, Thompson. Your future, and your child's, depends on it. I fled to the bathroom and called Jocelyn. They want me to lie. To say we're not together. Her voice cracked across the line. Then they don't deserve you. But Angie, the medical bills are already stacking up. If you lose this job, how do we afford the delivery? The truth hit like a slap. Assisted reproduction had wiped out our savings. The lawsuit could bankrupt us before the baby even arrived. I hung up and stared at my reflection. Tired eyes, flushed cheeks, the undeniable curve under my blouse. One photo from last year's Pride Parade had done this. Someone at the firm had sold it. Betrayal from inside my own walls. By lunch the story had gone national. My mother's name started trending because an old interview resurfaced where she told a church magazine, "I raised my daughter right. She will never embarrass this family with that lifestyle." The comments were vicious. I shut my phone off and drove to Jocelyn's school instead. She met me at the side entrance, pulling me into the empty literature classroom. "We fight this together," she said, kissing my forehead. "No more hiding." But when I looked at the ultrasound photo taped to her desk, I wondered if love was enough when the world wanted to take everything. The accident happened on the way home. A black SUV with tinted windows, paparazzi, swerved too close trying to get a shot through the window. Jocelyn slammed the brakes. Metal screeched. My seatbelt locked across my belly and pain shot through my side. "The baby," I gasped. Sirens wailed in the distance. By the time the ambulance arrived, I was bleeding. The ER doctor's face was grim. "We need to monitor for preterm labor. Stress is the enemy right now." Lying in the hospital bed with monitors beeping around my belly, I finally broke. Jocelyn sat beside me, eyes red from crying, while the doctor explained the risks. Bed rest for the next 2 weeks minimum. Any more stress could bring the baby early. I thought about the partner's deadline. I thought about my mother's silence for 11 years. I thought about the GoFundMe that had already started without our permission. Strangers donating to the lesbian mom fighting corporate hate. Everything felt out of control. Jocelyn squeezed my hand. "I already told the school I need family leave. We'll figure money out later. You and the baby come first." Her courage made my chest ache. She had always been the steady one. The one who believed love could outlast anything. I was the planner, the one who mapped every risk. Right now the biggest risk was losing her if I chose the safe path. "I'm not denying us," I whispered. "Not anymore." The words felt like jumping off a cliff, but her smile made the fall worth it. By evening the lawsuit had escalated. The client added my name personally, claiming emotional distress from my lifestyle choice. The firm issued a statement distancing itself. "We do not condone personal matters interfering with professional representation." My email inbox flooded with termination warnings. I stared at the ceiling, counting contractions that weren't quite labor yet. Jocelyn read me articles about other lesbian couples who survived public scandals, but the stories felt distant. This was my life, our life collapsing in real time. My brother called at midnight. "Mom saw the news. She's furious, but she asked if you're okay." The surprise cracked something inside me. Victoria Thompson, the woman who once burned my college photos of Jocelyn, was asking about me? I hung up before I could cry. Sleep came in fragments, dreams mixing courtroom gavel sounds with baby cries. When I woke, a new headline screamed from Jocelyn's phone. "Attorney Angelina Thompson refuses to deny lesbian relationship. Firm faces possible collapse." The partners called an emergency meeting I couldn't attend. They voted without me. Suspension without pay? Effective immediately. The news hit social media like wildfire. Donations poured in, but so did hate mail. Jocelyn shielded me from most of it, but one message got through. A letter from my mother's lawyer warning that if I continued parading this lifestyle, she would fight for custody rights as grandparent once the baby was born. The threat was empty legally, but emotionally it gutted me. I curled around my belly and whispered to our child, "I will never let them take you from us." The next 10 days blurred into a haze of bed rest, lawyer meetings via Zoom, and Jocelyn's quiet strength. She cooked meals, graded papers from home, and held me when the panic attacks came. The baby's heartbeat stayed steady, but my blood pressure climbed. Every news alert felt like another punch. Conservative pundits called me the poster child for moral decay. Progressive outlets hailed me as a hero. I felt neither, just a scared woman trying to keep her family intact. Then the firm offered a settlement. Resign quietly, sign an NDA, and they would drop any counterclaims. The payout was enough to cover the rest of the pregnancy and 6 months after. Jocelyn urged me to take it. "Your health, the baby. That's the only future that matters." But taking it meant admitting defeat, letting them erase me as if I never existed. I pictured walking away from the career I had sacrificed so much for. The one that once made my mother proud before everything changed. Pride warred with survival. On the 11th day, labor started for real. Contractions came every 7 minutes. Jocelyn drove like a race car driver through Chicago traffic while I timed them on my phone. The hospital admitted me immediately. Nurses hooked up monitors, started in 4. And the doctor warned it might be too early. 34 weeks. Viable but risky. I gripped Jocelyn's hand through each wave of pain, whispering, "Don't leave me." She never did. Between contractions she sang the same lullaby she'd been singing for months. News crews gathered outside the hospital entrance. Someone had tipped them off. Security had to escort us to a private wing. My phone exploded with messages. Colleagues offering support, strangers sending prayers, and one from my brother. "Mom is on her way." She saw the live stream of the ambulance. I laughed through tears. The woman who swore she would never have a lesbian daughter was coming to the hospital. Part of me wanted to refuse her. The other part, the little girl who still craved her mother's approval, ached for her to walk through the door. Hours dragged. The epidural helped, but fear remained. Jocelyn never let go of my hand. "Whatever happens, we're doing this together. You, me, and our baby girl." We had settled on Olivia Rose 2 nights earlier. The name felt like a promise. Around 2 a.m. the doctor checked again. "She's coming. Get ready." The room filled with controlled chaos. I pushed through the pain, Jocelyn coaching me breath by breath. And then the cry. Tiny, fierce, perfect. Olivia Rose Thompson Ramirez entered the world at 2:47 a.m. 3 pounds 11 ounces, but screaming like she already knew how to fight. The nurse placed her on my chest, skin to skin, and the world narrowed to her tiny fingers wrapping around mine. Jocelyn leaned in, tears streaming, kissing both of us. In that moment, the lawsuits, the firings, the headlines, all of it faded. This was what we had risked everything for. I looked at the woman I loved and knew I had made the right choice every single time I chose her. The door opened quietly. Victoria Thompson stepped inside, coat still damp from the rain, eyes wide and uncertain. She didn't speak at first. She simply stared at the baby, then at me, then at Jocelyn. The silence stretched until Jocelyn stood and offered her chair without a word. My mother sat. Her hands trembled as she reached out, stopping just short of touching Olivia. "She has your eyes," she whispered. I waited for the lecture, the conditional love, the reminder that she had been right all along. Instead she said, "I was wrong, Angelina. About so many things." The story spilled out in fragments while nurses moved around us. She had seen the footage of the accident, the ambulance, the fear on my face. Something broke inside her. The same something that had broken 11 years ago when I came out but had never healed. "I thought protecting the family meant protecting an image," she said. "But watching you fight for this baby, I saw myself in you. Stubborn. Brave. I drove straight here from Indianapolis. I was the first one they let in after Jocelyn." She looked at my partner with something close to respect. "Thank you for loving her when I couldn't." Jocelyn nodded once, tears in her eyes. No big reconciliation speech, just quiet acknowledgement. The 3 of us, 4 counting the baby, sat in the dim hospital light while outside the media waited like wolves. My mother stayed through the night, holding Olivia while I slept for the first time in days. When morning came, she faced the reporters with me. "My daughter is a hero," she said into the microphones. "And I am proud to be her mother." The words I had waited a decade to hear landed like healing balm. But the fight wasn't over. The lawsuit still loomed. The firm had leaked documents suggesting I had misrepresented my personal life on background checks. Legal fees would drain us even with the settlement offer. Jocelyn's school board was considering a review because parents complained about exposure. Every victory came with a new battle. Yet lying there with my daughter in my arms and both women who mattered most beside me, I felt something I hadn't in months: hope. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of adjustments and continued pressure. We brought Olivia home to our small apartment, my mother staying in a nearby hotel and helping every day. She changed diapers, warmed bottles, and slowly rebuilt the bridge she had burned. Jocelyn returned to teaching part-time while I recovered. The settlement check arrived, enough to buy us time, but not enough to restore my reputation overnight. Offers trickled in smaller firms, advocacy groups looking for a face of resilience, but none felt right yet. The lawsuit dragged into mediation. I refused to sign anything that required me to hide who we were. Instead, I countersued for defamation, using the leaked Pride photo as evidence of internal betrayal. The case became a symbol. Donations from LGBTQ+ organizations covered our legal fees. Jocelyn and I gave one careful interview together. Hands linked, Olivia asleep between us. We just wanted to love each other and raise our child, I said. The rest is noise. The clip went viral. Hate mail slowed. Support grew. My mother never fully apologized for the lost years, but her actions spoke louder. She introduced Olivia to her church group as my granddaughter, the miracle. She told her friends the truth. I was wrong about love. Watching her rock Olivia to sleep one evening, I realized courage wasn't only about grand gestures in courtrooms. Sometimes it was showing up at a hospital when pride demanded you stay away. 6 months later, I stood in a new office, smaller firm, better work-life balance, signing the final mediation papers. The client dropped all claims. My record stayed clean. Jocelyn and I bought a house in the suburbs with a yard big enough for a swing set. Olivia took her first steps between us while my mother clapped from the porch. The scandals became stories we told with laughter instead of fear. Yet every night when I checked the news alerts, I remember how close we came to losing everything. The choices I made, choosing love over silence, family over career, carried real costs. Some friendships ended. Savings vanished. Sleep still sometimes evades me. But the rewards? A daughter who will grow up knowing she is wanted exactly as her mothers are. A partner who never wavered. A mother who finally chose me. Looking back, I still wonder about the road not taken. If I had stayed silent, kept my old job, hidden our family, would life have been easier? Safer? Maybe. But it wouldn't have been ours. True or false? In the face of crushing public pressure and life-altering consequences, staying silent to protect your future is sometimes the only responsible choice for a parent.